Okay, hope this is going to be better. Hello again. Hopefully this is better. Oh, it's working. Awesome. Let's hope everybody will find their way back in.
Okay, well, hopefully that helps. Thank you, Cruise Garage. I really appreciate that. That's very nice of you.
We greatly appreciate the support.
Yeah, it was me that had COVID. I know some of y'all misunderstood the post that I made that Chris had it or didn't read it all the way, but it was actually me that had it. I stayed in a room for 5 days so that he wouldn't get it.
Yeah, she did. We did. I'm surprised I didn't, but she kept herself quarantined from the rest of us, and none of the other ones of us got it. So
You know, I didn't want him to miss NRA show and all the interviews that he was looking forward to. So luckily it worked out. Hope you're in here right now. I have your donor box. Thank you so much. He said Cherry Bombs Grease has a great article on their website about Grease versus CLP on military rifles from the World War to the present. They mention how LSA was great on the M16 in Vietnam and how some old timers still prefer it today. In the direct impingement too hard on is the direct impingement too hard on CLP? Indeed, do you believe a grease would be better?
well, LSA came later. When the rifles first came out, there wasn't a really proper lubricant. There was one, I think it was called Dry Slide, that they had some issues with. Those were not CLPs. Those were just a lubricant. We have today, made by G96, is a clean lubricant and preserve Rev D. I'm sorry, Rev E. There's a Rev A, which is their standard, which is the completely synthetic CLP. Then there's a Rev B, which is a bio CLP. Those mixtures are specifically designed small arms. And that particular one can be used on an internal piston as well. In fact, they go up to artillery. You can use those on artillery. Now, for as far as grease is concerned, grease, I don't believe it should be used on an AR-15, M16 platform. The only thing that I use grease for is M14s and M1s. The way the op rods and everything are in there, it's not necessary at all in the way that the M16s are produced. In fact, I don't know any assault rifle right now that I would really use grease on at all. I pretty much only use those on the original ones. Now, for as far as is the M16 more tough on those? Well, because of the fact that you have the pistons inside of the bolt carrier, you generate more heat. Now, there are some lubricants, actually most lubricants, that will burn off relatively quickly. It's not the case with the G96. I've had extensive experience with that on full auto and belt feds. It does not. Some of the cheaper ones, the old shitty break free, that was one that would burn off in no time. But this stuff here that we're using, the G96, the U.S. government issue, you don't have that problem. But as far as grease is concerned, I don't. There are people who like to put them on pistols, on rails. I find just dropping some G96 Bio CLP on there works perfect.
On my last about the Sporter, it's a 601 lower, no sear block confirmed
Oh,
from Colt, made in July 1990.
okay, so you got a real early one then. Yeah, that's a good find.
No, I did not self-medicate with several gallons of wine. I felt pretty dead to the world. What are your thoughts on Primary Arms optics? They have some gems and duds for the prices.
I've got maybe 2 or 3 here. I've had nothing but good luck. I do like them. That's one of the ones you'll see me use, in my rotation. I don't have any complaints about them whatsoever. The ones I've had have all been good.
Okay, well, it sounds like we might have to just go ahead and shut down the Q&A. I'm still seeing a lot of issues with sound and clipping, and I guess things aren't coming through. And so all I can do is hope that next week it runs better. If you guys have any questions that didn't get answered, you can email them to me. We do email responses, but we do ask that you make a donation to the channel. I know, I mean, I was trying to just hang in there, but I'm just getting so many, like, getting hammered about how much it sucks. So I don't know what else to do. I just thought we could kind of keep going, but I've already tried to reboot and I'm not even getting it. I'm not even getting a signal up here saying that it's an issue on our end that I normally have. Well, now they're saying it's better. All of a sudden they can hear.
Sounds good here.
Okay, well then I'll keep going, but I just don't want to keep doing a Q&A if it's, if you guys can't hear the answers to the question, it's kind of pointless, right? I don't want anybody to donate and then say, well, I couldn't even understand it. What are your thoughts on the SIG MCX Spear XM5 replacing the M4 M16?
Well, as I said earlier, yeah, I don't believe it's going to. I believe this program is going to flop because it was very poorly done, and you are basically decreasing firepower on the individual as well as the unit level by having the extensive recoil, a decrease from 30 rounds to 20 rounds. The fact you have much heavier recoil. You're going to be carrying less rounds of ammunition. You have an optic that you have to have a bachelor's degree to be able to figure out how to use. They're trying to turn every soldier. When you look at, say, for instance, we went from the M16A2 to the M4. You could clearly see the benefits: lighter weight, more compact. Was better for being mounted. You could actually see all the benefits. And you didn't. And you had accuracy that was the same out to 400 meters, which is basically what no soldier is going to engage on the battlefield beyond 400 meters. That anything beyond that's going to be a sniper. When you look at this, the only thing that was increased was the accuracy. Everything else was a step backward. If they would have gone with, say, the MCX in 6.8 SPC, that would have been an awesome rifle, because you don't lose anything. You're getting a larger cartridge, but you're not losing anything. You're losing a lot by going to the 6.8 SPC. If you look at the weight of that, when you add everything together, the suppressor and the optic, you're at the same weight of an M14. And we got rid of that in the Vietnam War, and nothing's really changed. Still in a platoon, but not as a replacement. I don't believe that FN is going to be in any trouble of losing M4 contracts in the future.
Yeah, Scott said he couldn't pass up that $1,500 deal. It was too good to be.
Oh, it's an early one. If you don't have the sear block and everything, that's one of the first production ones.
Looking to build a mid-length gas system rifle, what should I look for in a parts kit?
Well, the parts kit, as far as the barrels are concerned, I really like that. I've been testing a lot with the Faxon mid-length barrel. They also have one that's got the pin and everything drilled in it, so you can just tap a pin right through it. It comes pre-drilled, which is awesome. Really, it's no different than getting parts for any rifle. The only thing that's going to be different is your gas tube length. Just get a good reputable parts kit.
Don't know if it's got talked about yet, but what do you think of the Colt 5 finally coming to the civilian market?
I am ecstatic. I'm gonna get William to look to watch for me one. I'm very, very happy. That's going to sell very, very well for them. It's about time. They did a really good job on it. It's very much like well, it's identical to the CM901. In fact, where that came from was the individual carbine, where they started off with a LE901 forging, and they cut the magazine wall down, and that's just accept the 5.56 magazine, and there you had it. So it was the same as the LE901. I think this was a great move on Colt's part. I think that they're going to sell quite a few of them. I think people are going to be extremely happy. Um, I'm very happy. When I went to the booth, fortunately the booth, they didn't kick me out. I ran into an old friend of mine there, Churchill there, and we were talking and saying, we looked at I looked at the pipe. I got to look at the Anaconda for the first time, and the Anaconda was significantly better than the original. If you look at the original Anaconda they had, that was based more off the Cobra than it was the Python. So it wasn't nearly as nice as the Python. This one here is an exact duplicate of the Python in 44 Magnum, and it's very, very well made. I definitely see some improvements in what Colt's doing with some things now. Um, I don't know if that's CZ stepping in and doing it or what, but they've done a really good job on those revolvers. They're finally letting their M5 out. I think it's going to do very well. Now we just got to try to get them to release their adjustable gas valve front sight based. That prototype I saw was the nicest one I've ever seen with having a cross bolt gas valve.
Would the Spear go the way of the M14 ending up as a DMR?
I see it doing exactly that. I see that it definitely has benefits for DMR out to 6 to 800 yards. It certainly does. In a rifle that specifically and have a troop that's designed that's trained to use it, to train to use the optic because that optic has got it's got everything from I think it's even got night vision in it, thermal, but it's also got an automatic rangefinder and a computer that adjusts and everything. That's all that stuff. Which again, if your electronic goes out, I wonder how good the scope's going to be. But somebody who's very much trained on that, but not the general soldier. No, it's a way step backward.
Thoughts on the P320 ejector being part of the serialized firearm? If a magazine is overinserted, the firearm becomes permanently damaged. Is that a design flaw?
Well, I have not experienced that, and I have to tell you, I've had a lot of trigger time on the P320s, the different models. You do have a floor plate that stops that over travel. I know it's going to be an issue. Uh, they would have to fix it already because you got troops using the M17, M18 who are from the movies. They're just smacking that thing right in as hard as they can. I believe it's going to be an issue, but if it is, I'm sure SIG will have to correct that. But generally with pistols, you don't see a lot of that because you have a floor plate that stops that over insertion.
Why is my Smith & Wesson requiring me to send in my MP10 to get a replacement firing pin and extractor? I just wanted duplicates and offered to send in the bolt assembly, but they wanted the rifle.
I will tell you that there are some manufacturers who, if they don't sell parts, commercially, they want to make sure that the rifle will work with the parts that they're sending in, which basically tells me that they've had problems in the past. That they want to make sure that the parts they send you are going to work properly in your rifle. Um, it's not usual. I haven't seen it too often. I will tell you that SIG when they replaced my barrel in my MPX to because I had the same issue with the Tim or Military Arms Channel did with the water failure with the hydrolock. They had me send the entire gun in rather than just send me on a barrel. It's these they wanted to test fire it there. That's the only thing I can really tell you why.
Best bullet style for the 16-inch go-to war gun, FMJ, BTHP, TUI, SP, etc.
OTM. The best round in the world for that rifle is the Mark II 6.2 77 grain OTM. I don't believe there is any better bullets out there than that one.
What's your opinion on the new Colt M4 law enforcement carbine CR6940 offering from Colt? I think that's one we've answered a few times
No,
now, right?
no, that's a different one.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's the LE 6940, their standard one. They're using the same lower receivers. It's their one piece upper receiver. Many of you know that I've said that is Colt's crown jewel. I think that is the best evolution of the M4 that's come out. Now, if you were to put that upper receiver on their new M5 lower, I think you would have one badass rifle. Colt doesn't really want to do a lot of sales with that upper receiver because they have to pay a royalty to Carl Lewis because they've violated that. So you see they're trying to get away from that. But I was there during the development of that one, and I think it is absolutely awesome. If you look at the results from accuracy, they do phenomenal. It's a really, really nice design. As I said, if you were to get an M5 and one of those and just swap uppers, it would be a really badass rifle.
Will an LMT enhanced BCG work in an SR15?
Yeah. Actually, no, because you have a special. I do believe you have this. You have a special receiver extension because I'm sorry, you have a proprietary barrel extension because they have a proprietary bolt. So the carrier would work, but the bolt I don't think would.
What do you think of the AR-15's reliability coming to light recently in various YouTube tests? Many people are still surprised at how well the weapon does.
The weapon always did. The biggest problem that's happened over the years, and we're going to be talking about that with Chris Royce about real world versus what's done on YouTube. Um, if you have a proper military grade rifle, which has the proper components, the barrels outlast the gas tube. You don't really see the fact that the system keeps all that dirt and muck out compared to other systems makes it much more reliable in adverse conditions than anything else. Hey, Brett. Um, the biggest thing is doing the test properly and realistically. Again, I love Grand Thumb, but his test he did with the pouring water on and freeze on the gun and then trying to determine what a good rifle is by what works with that. That's not how the mil spec test is done. That's not the real world. That's not what's going to happen to these rifles when they sit outside. When they sit outside, they may have some condensation on them, but no one's dumping water in them and making everything freeze up. There's a specific way all this stuff is done. Um, this rifle is still probably the best in the world for as far as I'm concerned. When they're made properly, they're excellent battle rifles. There's nothing better in the world. A lot of the guys on YouTube are using parts, guns that are made by parts that you don't know where the shit came from. They're not mil spec. Mil spec means I can tell you I can tell you within a magazine what it's going to take to stop a SOCOM barrel with reliability. These other barrels that are made to different standards, you have no idea how the barrels are made. But the mil spec ones, at least we know for sure how they're made and what they can do.
Hey, Adnan, hopefully you can hear us because our numbers are dropping again. I think and I think it's a YouTube issue, honestly, because our numbers were going up and everything was good and starting to drop again, which tells me everybody's having problems. But Adnan, hopefully you can hear the answers. If not, I'll have him type it up for you. Oh, he says he doesn't have any questions for tonight. He was upset that he couldn't meet you in person at the show. He hopes to come back to Houston since he gets to try out much awesome food. He got COVID after arriving back home. He said it was totally worth it.
I really regret not preparing better for NRA. This is my first time that was here. Having it here. Thinking back, I would have set up a January 6th, to have people come see me there and such. If I do hope to be at SHOT Show this year, and I'm going to make it, so I'm going to be at a certain place where people can meet me.
It wasn't for lack of planning, though. NRA was supposed to be here last year, and we did plan to do a dinner. We planned to do a meet and greet, and then it was canceled. Everything lately has been so up in the air, and the fact that it even, then me being sick for 3 weeks leading into it, I couldn't do anything. I mean, the day that I crawled to my desk in my office to type you guys a message to let you know that we have not disappeared because there was no content. It was just that I am sick. But I couldn't really put anything together. I was concerned with really my ability to film these interviews at night with these guys coming in because I still didn't have a lot of energy. And that's why we actually paid our son to go with him and follow around the show, and just so that I could put together a little video for you guys, so that you could kind of see what it kind of looked like, and that it looked like it was very low crowds too.
It was tough.
He even said it was probably good that I didn't go because he said there was nothing new.
Yeah, there really wasn't. I was only there Friday and Saturday. I do have to say I did meet a lot of people there. There's a lot of people that did stop me. So there was some of you guys I did get a chance to meet. But I was only there on Friday and Saturday. The show was disappointing in the fact that there wasn't a lot of new products that were out there. And the fact that we had crowds out there protesting us. I had a guy look at me and tell me that my gun fetish is killing children. Another one shot at I had blood in my hands. So we did that, and that was mostly Friday when they had Trump there and people who were there speaking. But we will have this this will be planned for SHOT Show, where I already talked to Andy Goldman over at D96 that he would have some space for me, and I could have some hours that I would be there just for people if they want to come by and say hello. I love to meet as many of you guys as I can. That's why we do this, is because we love the interaction.
David, your drink and dinner is way better than mine. He is having vodka and Skittles for tonight. I just have a boring iced tea, so it's not. Yeah, the feed is extremely choppy. Okay, we're gonna shut it down. If you got, hopefully you guys saw about our raffle that we're having for a battle mug. Hold it up again, Chris, so we can do some sign language if they can't hear us. You can win this amazing mug. 2 weeks from tonight, tickets are $10 each. You can buy them on smallarmsolutions.com. I am so sorry after 6 weeks of no Q&As that whatever is happening is happening. I blame YouTube, but we will be back here next Friday night. You can guarantee it.
You guys have a good night. Thank you for joining us. Sorry for the mechanical difficulties here.